Hello everybody, I hope you're well. It's Mark here for another shave. Welcome to Friendship Shaving. Now I'm going to be using my PAA Travel Scuttle again this week. I've had some further thoughts on this that I wanted to share with you, so I'm going to include it in the video. You can see already got a little bit of soap in there. I'm going to add a drop of water to that and just let that sit for a moment. Going to be using my Miami shaving soap, Barbershop scent from Barbero. Lovely, lovely soap this, very pleased to have that. And I've got a new razor in the den. It is an above the tie razor with an M2 head and a Colossus handle. Very hefty razor indeed, and I'm very pleased to have that. And I'm going to be using in that today a Gillette 7 o'clock Permasharp stainless razor, and I haven't used one of these for quite a little while, so it will be quite interesting. Now I'm going to be using my rubber set. You can see I've already started to try and build a lather, and I'm just going to put my scuttle down on the edge of the sink to do that. I mentioned last week that the base of the scuttle has a very small flat area, and I thought that it would benefit from having a wider base, and in fact Manny from SoCal Shaves got in touch with me, has had exactly the same thought as I have. Now, if you're used to building a lather or loading your brush in a flat bottomed bowl like this, you will appreciate that as your brush moves around the bottom of the bowl, the bristles have plenty of room to move, plenty of space for the soap to get in the end of those bristles and create a good lather. Now, because the scuttle is a conical shape, and in fact the flat space in the bottom of the scuttle is just about the size of this 2p coin, so you can see in comparison with the head of the brush, the diameter of the brush is much greater. What that does, as the brush gets damp, it forces the brush into this sort of a shape, and I've just got a rubber ring here to demonstrate, and it compresses those bristles together and doesn't give you much space for the soap to get in, and there's obviously a very small space to try and build that lather. I actually find it quite difficult. Once you get a lather going, it's absolutely fine, and it's still a very good scuttle, of course, but I really think that it would benefit from having a much bigger base. It certainly would be much easier. I find that as I use it, I mean, look at the state of my brush. I would not like to use, and so far that's as much lather as I've got, so I wouldn't like to use an expensive brush in there. I know that many of you will say that the brush is just a tool, and of course you'd be quite right, but nevertheless it's a tool that I want to keep in good condition for as long as possible. So as I say, it is a good scuttle, it does its job very well, but I feel it would benefit from a bigger, flatter base. And we just started to build a decent lather now. As I say, once you get the lather going, I mean, look, it really works very well, but it's just that initial start is Could be a little bit easier, let's put it that way. Right, that will do. I've got plenty of lather there. I will just rinse my face. And I'm actually going to use, I should have done this already, but I'm going to use a Permasharp white pre-shave today. And just rub some of that into my face. Now I'm very glad to have this new razor in the den. I exchanged my Moolah rocker for this above the tie razor, and I know I got the better part of the deal, so Mark, thank you very much, sir. I much appreciate that I got the chance to try this razor. I have already had a shave with it, and it is a very nice razor indeed. It is my first above the tie razor. They are quite expensive. Coming in at $185. So thus far it is by far the most expensive razor that I own. You can see it's got a nice short comb, and it is all stainless steel. The handle is very heavy indeed, and it's weighted in the bottom, but with the head on it seems to be, the balance point is about here, and it seems very comfortable to hold in that position. The handle length is 4 inches, so it is about the size of a Black Beauty or a Super 109. Now let's, warm lather. It's just, I'm enjoying this warm lather. I think spring is finally coming, so I will be switching to cold water shaves very shortly. It's very windy here today, so if there is a bit of noise on the video, I can't help that, but the wind is howling outside and making a bit of noise. Oh, this soap is lovely. Lovely soap. I know I've said before it's very similar in scent to PAA High Jump 47. Just a lovely, lovely sweet scent. And I think that will do. Now, the above the tie razors come with 3 heads. Well, actually more than that. There is an open comb version, which this one is, and a closed comb version. So the closed comb is the M1, and the open comb, this one, is the M2. It is, according to their website, and I'm just going to read it here, their mildest and most gentle open comb razors. Now I have to say, it is a beautiful shave. It is a mild razor, but I read someone's review of this recently on one of the forums, and they described it as a mild razor with attitude, and I think that is a very good description. I can certainly feel exactly where the blade is. But it is very, very comfortable. As I found with the Mula Rocker, the stainless steel head does have a little bit of resistance against the skin. That a chromium plated razor or a nickel plated razor doesn't have. It's just not quite as smooth as it glides over your skin. It's still very smooth, don't get me wrong, there is just a tiny little bit of resistance there that you don't get with nickel or chromium plated razors, but it's very nice. The handle is nicely weighted. It's a little bit long for me. I prefer a slightly shorter handle, but they do make different handles. This one is the 4-inch Colossus, as I've said. They make a 3.5-inch Kronos handle or a 3-inch Atlas handle, and of course they all fit these heads. Now the handles alone come in at $56. I've had a 2-day growth. It's been a couple of days since I've had a shave. It's just going through it, no problem at all. This 7 o'clock green is quite nice. I must admit I had forgotten what it was like to use one, and it works very nicely with this razor. I know some blades work better with I know some blades work well with one razor but not so well with another, so with this one it works very well indeed. It's a very nice shave. They above the tie make 3 heads for this razor: the M2, the R2 and the H2. Now, as I've said, the 2s are the open comb version, so of course there's an M1, an R1 and an H1, but I'm just going to talk about the open combs. There's a tiny little bit of overhang there. You can barely see it, but just to be aware that it is there. Now apparently the M cap or guard is for mild growth, the R is for regular growth, and the H is for heavy growth. So that's how above the tie have graded them. I do find this, and in fact on their website, and I'll provide the link, they have an FAQ where they compare the above the tie razors and the blade caps with similar razors. So I've written down this is got a 0.25 of a millimetre blade cap, and they compare that with a Black Beauty, a Super 109 on setting 1 that has a blade gap of 0.43 millimeters, and also they compare that with a Weishi shaver which has a blade gap of 0.56 of a millimeter. Now I would say that there seems to be a little disparity between their description of this as being the mildest and most gentle of their open comb razors, and their ratings and the way it feels on my skin. Now I've got a Super 109 and I've got a Weishi shaver, and let me tell you, there is no way that the Weishi shaver is more aggressive than this. No way in the world. The Weishi shaver is the most mild razor that I have in the den. So it's a strange sort of, I always assumed that the blade gap was a measure of how mild a razor was. But in this case, I kind of don't agree with them at all. Well, I don't agree with them at all. I think that description that I said earlier of a mild razor with attitude is a very, very good description. It's a wonderful razor, no doubt about it, but as I say, there's just a little disparity there, and it's definitely more aggressive than my Weishi. But I tell you what, it gives a wonderful shave. This is where I find I benefit from the longer handle. You can see I've moved my grip and I'm holding it right at the end. And I find on my neck it works very well with that longer handle. There we go. A bit of concentration there on the neck. When I took this out of the box, it comes in a beautiful box, and I shall take a picture of the box and so you'll see it as part of the picture for the video. But when I took it out of the box, I was knocked out by the weight of it. Now on the Above the Tie website, they don't give a total weight for the razor, at least I couldn't find one. But the handle alone comes in at 86 grams. really is a beast of a handle. But initially I thought it might be too heavy for me to be comfortable with, but it's quite amazing how when you start using it you get used to the weight very quickly, and it's a very nicely balanced handle. The weight is more in the handle than the head, and obviously with the shorter handles that would change slightly. So you could buy whichever handle suited how you like your razor to feel. But I've been enjoying this. I've used it a couple of times now, and it's given me a wonderful shave. Very nice indeed. I'm very, very pleased. I'm very lucky to be able to have this in my den. I know there are lots of very expensive razors out there in the world, but this is my first little foray into that world. It's made with something called 303 stainless steel. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't know what that is, and I don't know why these razors are so expensive compared to my stainless steel cutlery set, for example. Perhaps it's a different type of stainless steel. I really don't know, but maybe some of you out there watching this video will be able to put me right on that. I know the stainless steel razors do seem to be quite expensive, but this is a nice one. I'm really, really enjoying it. Like all razors, it's just taking me a little practice to get the angle just right for this razor. And I must admit, while there was a little bit of overhang there of the blade, it's not bothered me under the nose at all. I've changed my routine slightly this week, guys. I've had a lot of, not irritation, but like a little rash of red, quite little sore spots come up, like load here, a couple here, a few down here. So obviously something I've used on my face has irritated me slightly. So for the last week I've just been going over to shaving every other day rather than each day. Just to give that a rest. Now that is my 3 passes. I can feel that I'm stinging a little bit under here. But I've got a very nice shave. I've got a really nice shave. A little bit there, as I say, it grows at a funny angle, my hair there, but I'm not going to fuss with that. I am going to put a little bit of alum on. Ooh, boy. And this is what I mean about it being a mild razor with an attitude. Tremendous shave. It could be that because it's new to me, I've not quite got the angle correct yet. So maybe there's a little bit of that in it. It could be that I'll have a different experience with a different blade, because the last time I shaved I wasn't as stingy as this, so it could be the new blade that I've got in it that has contributed to a bit of stinging today. But all in all, a very, very nice razor from Kingsport in Tennessee, in the USA, of course. Very nice with the pre-shave. I could feel that all the way through the shave. I've had a great shave, no doubt about it. You know, I wanted to get a Voskhod out this week. Some of the guys have been mentioning them on their Facebook group, Friendship Shaving, and I thought, oh yeah, I'll have a shave with my favourite blade, the Voskhod, but I'm determined to use all the blades in my mug, and I haven't got a Voskhod in there, I don't think. So before I go to the box where I keep my blades, I'm going to go through all the blades in this mug, and I've quite a few. It might take me a little while, so who knows what you'll see over the next weeks and months. Well, that is my shave with the above the tie M2 razor head with the Colossus handle, and I have to say it's been very nice. It's very well put together. Let me just show you the inside of the guard and the cap. Take the blade out. There we are, just a bit of soap wanted rinsing off there. So you can see it is a very short comb indeed. Very well designed. It's quite a thick and heavy base. It's very well machined, and it's those two holes that are in the guard match up very well with these two pins in the head. So it fits together very beautifully. So that is my shave for this week, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed it. You take care of yourselves, and I'll see you very shortly. All the best to you. Have a good week now. Bye bye.